I just want everyone to know I just got a text, 411 newsflash. It says, especially with that dump truck staring at me in the face right now. So, thank you. Okay, hi sluts. Pussy, mind, body, spirit, soul. What is slut camp? Let's get into it. Blocked immediately. Welcome back. When I first moved to New York, I had just gotten out of a 2-year relationship. I was like no money, no family, 16 in the middle of Miami, as Iggy Azalea once said. I was so excited for literally everything and anything. And most importantly, I was excited to get a little slutty, dare I say. One of my first nights living in the city, let's say our freshman year of living in New York City, I traveled to a little known bar in the East Village called Wiggle Room. It's a bar that I made my second home, my first year in New York. It sounds disgusting to say that out loud, but it's true. And one of my first nights living in the city, first weekend, I should say, my friend and I, my friend who lived down the hall from me that I also went to school with, so nothing new there, we decided to have a night out on the town. It's our first weekend in the city. We got to do something big. We got to do something crazy. Like, what are we going to do? Oh, I've heard of this bar called Wiggle Room. Let's fucking go. Okay, so we go. We pregame at like 9 p.m. because we're like fucking idiot rats who don't know that in New York City, people don't go out until midnight, 1. That's when things get fun. So we're ripping shots at 9 p.m. As you can imagine, by 10:30, we're like ready to shake ass, ready to like pussy to the crowd by like 10:30. So we walk to Wiggle Room. Mind you, it's literally like 4 blocks away from my apartment, which was the best thing and the worst thing to ever happen to me. And we get there, we go up, we're like, what the fuck? There's like a line. And by a line, I mean, there's like 10 people. Now, living in LA, when I was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I was going clubbing with like promoters. There were no lines. Like I didn't have to wait anywhere. I'm not used to waiting on lines until I moved to the city. And by line, I mean, there were literally 5 people standing in line. I've never seen a line that short since living here, but at the time, 5 people online, doesn't matter. We walk up, we get online, and across the street comes running 2 adorable little men, come right up to us. Hey girls. They didn't sound like that. They were like, hey ladies, can we stand online with you? Oh my God, batting my eyelashes, like, sure you can. One of them is wearing an Indiana University polo, which was concerning. Then he told me he was a year older than me, double concerning. But I was like, this is fun. This is for the plot. This is like good. I love it. The owner of the bar, at the time I didn't know this, walks up to me and is like, I love your outfit. Like, I fuck with your vibe. And I was like, thank you so much. Like, what? And then she goes, the 2 boys you're with are dressed like shit. If they weren't with you, they wouldn't be getting into this bar. And I was like, oh my God. Wait, I'm literally like so hot and insane. Like, what? So automatically they're like, oh my God, I'm with like God herself. Like, need to buy this woman drinks. We get inside. They're buying us drinks. It's like 4 or 5 drinks, like downstairs. There's like a little dance area. We're like shaking ass, dropping it low, whatever. And then at around, I want to say the stroke of like 1 a.m., we all decide to go home. It's getting a little sexy. It's getting a little spicy. We're like, let's take this party back 4 blocks to our home. Long story short, I'm like, this is it. This is my first hookup, post breakup, rebound New York City. Here we fucking go. And so we run back to our apartment, literally the 4 of us like marching like fucking leprechauns, like at the end of the rainbow, like to get back to our apartment. And we go up the elevator. My friend happens to live down the hall from me. Like, we're in a college dorm. So she goes to her end of the hallway. I go to my end of the hallway. And may I just say that this sexual experience was one of the worst I have had in my life. And that's saying a lot. Like, this man, and whiskey dick, whatever the fuck you want to call it, fine. But it was just so bad. Like, it was not working. He was not giving what it needed to give. For my rebound off a 2-year relationship, fucking seriously, I was pissed. But I go to bed because I'm fucked up. Tequila will do that to me. And I wake up, not because my eyes are fluttering open to the lovely sunshine, like seeping into my fucking 40 square foot room. No, it's the fucking SWAT team banging on my door, like at 3 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I like jolt awake. I'm like, hello? I go to the door. I'm like, someone's dead. Like, what's going on? I think I'm in REM still. I think I'm probably lucid dreaming at this point. This man who was once in my bed is standing outside of my door. You're like, Emma, that sounds like fucking crazy. Like, why is he outside your door? In his underwear. Let's take a step back. This man that was once in my bed is now not only outside of my door, my apartment, but he is in his underwear. Like, I don't think he was wearing underwear when we went to bed, so I'm not sure how that even happened. But I say, what's going on? Why are you in your underwear? Like, why are you outside my door? He's like, I am a sleepwalker. And I'm like, I feel like that's something you should tell someone when you are going to sleep with them in their bed for an entire night, but okay. And realized I was in your lobby, and so I sat with your doorman, and we looked at the security footage to find out where I came from. And now I'm back here. And so many things going through my head. First of all, I'm like, am I awake? Is this happening right now? What's going on? This man, after the fact that this all happens, proceeds to text me the next day and say, I can't even use the word audacity because it's expired at this point. There's no word that makes up audacity. Like, we need to find a new one. Are you on BC? That's what, are you on BC? Blocked immediately. So that was fucking mortifying to say the least, but I should have, in retrospect, taken his fucking clothes, thrown them at his face and told him to get the fuck out. But nonetheless, I let him back into my chamber of secrets. And then in the morning, I said, get the fuck out. I'm done. We're done here. This is done. I blocked his ass immediately. So that was my first encounter with a man in New York City sexually. So the sleepwalking was concerning, to say the least. However, it did foreshadow what was going to be the next year and a half of my dating history in New York City. And if that doesn't give you enough clarity and understanding of what you're about to listen to for however many episodes you choose to listen to, then I don't know what will. I also want to start off by saying that I woke up this morning freshly at 7 a.m., birds chirping outside, getting ready for my yoga class. I pick up my phone. Maybe I got an important text from a friend. Maybe my mom decided to text me once in her life. No, it was a dick pic from a man that I'm currently talking to, which was it was a good one. And I'll say he has an Android, so it was good quality for an Android. Am I funny? I'm gonna keep that in. Am I funny? She thinks I'm funny. So I feel qualified to talk about dating. And why do I feel like I need to make a podcast? Like, everyone can make a podcast. Like, yes, correct. And I'm doing something that every other bitch is doing. But I want to give you advice about dating in your 20s, but not in the sense of like coming from an older person, coming from someone who is like young 20. Like, I feel like I'm right smack in the middle, and I can give you that take of like what is actually going to happen in your 20s and how to deal with bullshit from men and also women. My friends have described my dating life as so unfortunate, leaving their jaws like in hell as to the stories that I have. It sounds like I'm making them up. I promise I'm not. One of these days I will have one of the men that I talk about on this podcast come to this show, and that'll be like the episode of the century. But it gives my friends enjoyment, and also me, and also depression, but it's fine. We ignore that. Now, what is slut camp? Let's get into it. Slut camp, and that's SLUTCAMP as in pussy. Not cam, that's something else. Okay? Another website, not this one. Slut camp is the name of a Snapchat story. Snapchat. No one fucking uses Snapchat anymore. I'm 24 years old. I need to delete it. It has all of my nudes and all of my memories, so I can't. But anyways, Slut Camp was a private Snapchat story I created in 2019. It eventually had around 375-ish people on it, so can't really call that private any longer. However, I was selective. I was slightly selective. If I met you out at a bar, if I met you out at a club, if I met you in my workplace, you were put on Slut Camp, essentially, not by choice. My boss was on Slut Camp, is on Slut Camp. My current boss, my coworkers, my neighbors, only people that aren't allowed are probably my parents and my siblings, because no thank you. But recently it shifted off of Snapchat and moved to close friends on Instagram, because I felt nobody looks at Snapchat anymore. I might as well speak my thoughts and piss people off on close friends on Instagram, because that way they have to watch it. It's in between my real story. I called it Slut Camp predominantly because I had started this journey, what we call my whole era, HOLE. And my friends were like, we need like your tips and tricks. Like, we need to go to like Emma boot camp on like how to be like this slut, don't give a fuck, like men are objects, etc. And I'm like, okay, so you want to enter your fucker a little bit. It's like your slut era, so we can call it your Slut Camp era. The meaning of the word then formed. Slut Camp is a living memory of that time in my life, but it also is, in the meaning of the word itself, a boot camp for sluts. And that's not to say I'm teaching you how to become more slutty or fuck a lot of people or be a slut, quote unquote. What the word of the definition is. Slut is oftentimes obviously a word that is derogatory towards women. You and I are both guilty of calling other girlies sluts, whether it's in a good way or a bad way. Let's take the word, break it down, make it less catastrophic and less dehumanizing and negative, and make it positive. Being slutty is fun. It's cool. And it doesn't have to mean that you're sleeping with 50 people at once. It could just mean that you like to go out and shake ass and have a good fucking time. What's wrong with that? I want to bring out your inner slut and make the word kind of more positive, more fun and flirty, and just being like, you're a slut, own it. Okay, so who am I? What is my mission? What is happening? Why am I doing this? I'm Emma, obviously. I don't know if I said that. I'm Emma. I'm not a dating coach, and I'm not nearly qualified enough to give any actual advice, so maybe take everything I say with a grain of salt. But think of me as your slutty and confidant, here to give you shitty, insane, and blunt advice that hits as hard as like a slap in the face. I'm not old enough to be an aunt, though, clearly. I'm very youthful. Gen Z. On Slut Camp in particular, on this show, I want to introduce and dissect and argue and get into a grand, giant, big old topic that we've all been edging but can't quite find the big O, the geyser, the end of the rainbow, etc., whatever you want to say, the center of the issue and the deeper cut as to what's really going on here. And that is dating in your 20s, dating in the 2020s, the bane of my existence, and what I think is a violation of the 8th Amendment, that is cruel and unusual punishment. The very reason why I felt so perturbed and invigorated and pushed to speak on the matter. Okay, so Emma, why do you feel qualified in the subject? You don't have a boyfriend. You are not a model. You are not by any definition picture perfect qualified to talk about this. Well, I'll tell you, I'd like to refer to my dating life as a series of unfortunate events. I think it's funny. My friends think it's funny. Oftentimes when I tell a news story, it's broadcasted to a friend's entire apartment through speaker. I said, why the fuck don't I make this a podcast then and just tell a lot of people my funny fucking dating stories? Everyone can laugh at my misery. It's fine. No, I'm kidding. I love it. I do. In fact, if my life was ever made into a major motion picture film, I 1000% can say with certainty that I would not see it. Thank you so much for listening to this little snippet of Slut Camp, and I will see you next time for the next slut edition of Emma's dating series, and we'll call this one the double homicide. Fucked the wrong twin. Hint, includes twins. Thank you. Bye.